This is the prologue. In 1989, the Texas legislature established the Commercial Driver's License Law to comply with Federal Commercial Motor Vehicle Safety Act of 1986. These laws were passed to reduce traffic accidents involving commercial motor vehicles. The following handbook was designed to assist you, the professional driver, to pass the required knowledge and skills test. Look for relevant study and review questions at the end of many chapters. Although comprehensive, this handbook is not an exact reference to the Texas Commercial Driver's License Law. Who needs a CDL? All drivers who operate a commercial motor vehicle are required to have a commercial driver's license. The law does provide for some exemptions. A driver that meets one or more of the criteria listed below will not be required to have a CDL. However, the driver is required to have a Class A, B, or C non-CDL license. Who is exempt from a CDL? Persons operating the following vehicles are exempt from a CDL. At 1, a vehicle that is controlled and operated by a farmer, used to transport agricultural products, farm machinery, or farm supplies to or from a farm, not used in the operations of a common or contract motor carrier, and used within 150 air miles of the person's farm. 2, a firefighting or emergency vehicle necessary to the preservation of life or property or the execution of emergency governmental functions, whether operated by an employee of a political subdivision or by a volunteer firefighter. This includes operators of industrial emergency vehicles. 3, a military vehicle when operated for military purposes by military personnel, members of the Reserves and National Guard on active duty, including personnel on full-time National Guard duty, personnel on part-time training, and National Guard military technicians. 4, a recreational vehicle that is driven for personal use. 5, a vehicle that is owned, leased, or controlled by an air carrier as defined by Texas Transportation Code Section 21.155 and that is driven or operated exclusively by an employee of the air carrier only on the premises of an airport as defined by the TRC section. Or 6, a vehicle used exclusively to transport cotton seed modules or cotton burrs. Different classes of commercial driver licenses. The 3 basic types or classes of commercial driver licenses are described below. For further information, refer to Figure 1.2. This helps a person determine which class of license he or she needs and which sections of the handbooks to study. Class A. Any combination of vehicles with a gross combination weight rating of 26,001 pounds or more, provided the gross vehicle weight rating of the vehicle or vehicles towed exceeds 10,000 pounds. B. Any single vehicle with a gross vehicle weight rating of 26,001 pounds or more, and any one of those vehicles towing a vehicle that does not exceed 10,000 pounds gross vehicle weight rating, and any vehicle designed to transport 24 passengers or more, including the driver. And a Class B license will be restricted to operating buses under 26,001 pounds GVWR if the skills test is taken in a bus with a GVWR or less than 26,001 pounds. And Class C, any single vehicle or combination of vehicles that is not as a Class A or Class B if the vehicle is 1, designed to transport 16 to 23 passengers including the driver, or 2, used in the transportation of hazardous materials require the vehicle to be placarded under 49 CFR Part 172 Subpart F. Commercial Learner Permit, or CLP. A Commercial Learner Permit, CLP, will be issued to drivers who are applying to drive a commercial vehicle or upgrading an existing commercial driver's license. A CLP must be held for a minimum of 14 days prior to being allowed to take the CDL skills test. This applies to original applicants, upgrade in class, or adding endorsements which require a skills test. While operating a commercial motor vehicle with a commercial learner's permit, the applicant must have a licensed CDL operator with the proper class of license in the front seat. A CLP is valid for 180 days or expiration of the base license or lawful presence, whichever is earliest. A CLP is eligible to renew one time, 30 days prior to expiration. In addition to the general driver license restrictions and endorsements, a CDL holder may also have one or more of the following restrictions or endorsements applied to his license. Endorsements and restrictions for commercial driver's license. T, double triple trailer. P, passenger. N, tank vehicle. H, hazardous material. X, combination of N and H. Or S, school buses. And restrictions, code M, intrastate only, commercial motor vehicle. That means inside of one state only. L, no air bases. Or restriction P, licensed CDL operator in front seat in all classes of CMVs. A licensed CDL operator in front seat, CMVs above Class B, or a licensed CDL operator in the front seat with CMVs above Class C. Farm-related service industry, or FRSI waiver. So farm-related service industry, FRSI waiver. The Texas Department of Public Safety may waive the commercial driver's license or CDL knowledge and skills test required by TRC Section 522.012 and provide the issuance of a restricted CDL to an employee of a farm-related service industry. Seasonal drivers of the following FRSI are authorized by federal and state regulations to attain the waiver and be issued a restricted CDL. 1. Farm retail outlets and suppliers. 2. Agrochemical businesses. 3. Custom harvesters, including cotton modular operators. And 4. Livestock feeders. FRSI CDLs shall be issued for Class B and Class C vehicles only. Class A vehicles are not included in the waiver. The FRSI CDL can only be valid for 180 days each 12-month period as indicated on the license. Applicants are not required to pass CDL knowledge or skills tests to obtain an FRSI CDL. However, by rule, the department will require applicants for a Class B FRSI CDL to pass a 20-question Class A to B rules test and a skills test in a Class B vehicle before the Class B FRSI CDL will be issued. An applicant for an FRSI CDL must have a good driving record and at least 1 year of driving experience at any type of vehicle. A driver who has not held any motor vehicle operator's license for at least 1 year will not be eligible for the FRSI CDL. Drivers who have between 1 and 2 years of driving experience must demonstrate the good driving record requirements for their entire driving history. Drivers with more than 2 years of driving experience must meet the good driving record requirements for the 2-year period preceding their date of application for an FRSI CDL. A good driving record is defined as 1. No multiple licenses. 2. No driver's license suspensions, revocations, disqualifications, or cancellations of any kind. 3. No convictions in any type of motor vehicle for driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, leaving the scene of an accident, or committing any felony involving a motor vehicle. 4. No convictions whatsoever in any type of motor vehicle for serious traffic violations such as speeding at 15 miles per hour or more above the posted speed limit, reckless driving, improper erratic lane changes, following too closely, driving a CMV without a CDL in possession, or driving a CMV without a CDL. And 5. No convictions of any type of motor vehicles for accident-connected traffic law violations and no record of at-fault accidents. A holder of an FRSI CDL may not transport hazardous materials in quantities requiring placarding except for the following amounts. 1. Transport 10,000 gallons or less of diesel fuel. 1,000. Transport 1,000 gallons or less of diesel fuel. 2. Transport 3,000 gallons or less of liquid fertilizer, or transport any quantity of solid fertilizer not mixed with any organic substance. No other placarded hazardous materials shall be transported by holders of an FRSI CDL. The FRSI CDL confers the right to carry hazardous materials as listed above. No hazardous materials and endorsements can be placed on an FRSI CDL. An FRSI CDL driver may only be permitted to operate commercial motor vehicles within 150 miles of the employer's place of business or the farm currently being served. CDL sanctions and disqualifications apply to the FRSI CDL driver just as they do to the unrestricted CDL driver. A driver who operates a commercial motor vehicle that is not included in the farm-related service industry waiver or who violates the restrictions on the FRSI is subject to a fine as provided in state law, and suspension of driving privileges is provided in state law. The FRSI CDL has reciprocity in all states. An applicant for an FRSI CDL must meet all other CDL requirements as provided by 49 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 383, TRC, Section 522, and Department Administrative Regulations. This includes age, a minimum of 18 intrastate commerce, and age 21 interstate commerce, language, vision, and physical requirements. Applicants must complete the CDL 1F application form when applying for the FRSI CDL, renewing the FRIS CDL, or changing the seasonal validity period once each year, and the applicant's employer must complete the backside of the application each time. The fees for an FRSI CDL are the same as for a regular CDL. $60 for originals or renewals, $10 each time the seasonal validity period has to be updated once each year. General requirements. The following are the general requirements a person must meet in order to apply for a commercial driver's license. Interstate. This means between more than one state. Interstate. The driver must reside in the state of Texas. Drivers must certify that they meet the qualification requirements of 49 CFR Part 39 or 391, which are briefly be 21 years of age, be able to read and speak the English language, no loss of limb that has not been waived, no impairment of hand, finger, arm, foot, or leg that interferes with driving, no heart problems, no respiratory dysfunction, no high blood pressure, no rheumatic, arthritic, orthopedic, muscular, neuromuscular, or vascular problems that would affect motor or vehicle control, no epilepsy or other conditions likely to cause loss of consciousness, no mental, nervous, organic, or functional disease or psychiatric disorder likely to interfere with vehicle control, vision of 20/40 or better in each eye, not colorblind, have good hearing, not addicted to drugs, and not addicted to alcohol. Must complete Form CDL 4 intrastate. This is just inside the state of Texas itself. The driver must reside in the state of Texas. The driver must be at least 18 years of age. The English language is not required. Intrastate drivers must meet all of the physical requirements listed above for intrastate drivers unless exempted. Intrastate drivers who do not meet the vision requirements of 49 CFR Part 391 may be able to qualify for a vision waiver. A driver must have 20/40 or better distant vision with or without corrective lenses in order to qualify for the waiver. Applicants for a vision waiver must apply through the department's license issuance service in Austin. Federal physical requirements of 49 CFR Part 391 do not apply to the following commercial motor vehicle operators who will be required to hold a CDL, but they must meet state medical and vision requirements. A driver who operates a commercial motor vehicle in intrastate commerce, not transporting property requiring a hazardous material placard, and was regularly employed in Texas in interstate commerce prior to August 28th of 1989. School bus drivers employed by a private or parochial school, and school bus drivers employed by a company that operates school buses under contract with the school while transporting school children and or school personnel from home to school and from school to home. Persons operating a vehicle for a government entity. This includes school bus drivers employed directly by a school district. Persons occasionally transporting personal property not by compensation nor in the furtherance of commercial enterprise. Persons transporting corpses, sick or injured people, private transportation of passengers. Intracity zone drivers with limited exception who possess a DOT medical examiner certificate restricted to intracity operation. Medical certificate must be presented to a DPS employee at the time of application. The transportation of farm machinery, supplies or both, to or from a farm for custom harvesting operations on a farm, or for the transporting of custom harvested operations to storage or market. Drivers operating motor vehicles controlled and operated by a beekeeper engage in the seasonal transportation of bees. The operation of a vehicle in interstate operations used in oil or water well servicing or oil or water well drilling, and which is constructed as a machine consisting, in general, of a mast, an engine for power, a drawworks, and a chassis permanently constructed or assembled for such purposes. The operation of a mobile crane that is an unladen, self-propelled vehicle constructed as a machine used to raise, shift, or lower weights. CDL is restricted to intrastate. The completion of either form, CDL 5 or CDL 10, is required. Commercial driver's license medical certification requirements. All commercial driver's license holders must certify to their medical certification status. For additional information, please visit our website. Tests. A driver must pass certain knowledge and skills tests depending on the type of commercial driver's license and endorsement he needs. The tests are described in section 1.1. The knowledge test. The knowledge tests are multiple choice and matching type tests. A person must answer 80% of the questions correctly prior to taking the skills test. Sequence of the knowledge exams. Okay, this is the sequence. Texas commercial rules, general knowledge, combination if required, air brakes if required, double triple trailer if required, passenger if required, school bus if required, tanker if required, or hazmat if required. Safety inspection. Before the driver begins his skills test, the examiner will conduct a safety inspection of the vehicle. This will include equipment requirements, liability insurance requirements, and registration requirements. If the vehicle does not pass inspection, the skills test will be postponed. The vehicle will be inspected for the following: current liability insurance, current registration, inspection certificate, headlamps for bright and dim, 2 tail lamps, 1 for 1959 models or earlier, and 2 stop lamps, 1 for 1959 models or earlier, turn signals, 1960 or later models, horn, exhaust system, license plate, currently 2, a windshield wiper, rearview mirrors, safety belt, approved glass coating material if applicable, clearance lamps, side marker lamps, side reflectors, turn signals, all models, hazard warning lamps, fire extinguisher if required, flashing lights, school bus, 2 ready alternating flashing lamps to the front and rear, reflective triangles if required, full service brakes, hydraulic brake, and parking brake. The skills test. All drivers of CMVs must have the knowledge and skills necessary to operate a CMV safely. The required skills test, the road test, consists of 3 sections: pre-trip vehicle inspection, basic vehicle control, and safe on-road driving skills. Each section of the skills test must be passed for taking the next section. Section 11, 12, and 13 cover these required skills tests. The basic vehicle control test. A driver will be tested on the basic vehicle control skills consisting of 3 of the following: straight line backing, offset back right, offset back left, parallel park the driver's side, and then parallel park conventional. The road test. A driver must take a road test in the vehicle he plans to drive or in one in the same class. The road test will consist of the following maneuvers: start, quick smooth stop, upshifting, downshifting, lane change, merge, use of lanes, right of way, posture, approach to corner, traffic signals, traffic signs, left turns, right turns, intersections, railroad crossing, curves, roadside stop, start. Pass or fail. The official conducting the examination will guide the driver through the roads test. If the driver successfully performs the required maneuvers, they will be issued a commercial driver's license. If not, they will be required to take the road test again another day. The following factors will result in failure of the road test: having too many deductions, more than 30, having or causing an accident, driving dangerously, not cooperating, or violating the law. Skills test exemptions. A driver is exempt from the skills test if he or she can certify to meeting all of the following requirements: he or she is currently licensed. 2. During the 2-year period immediately prior applying for a CDL license, the driver has not had more than 1 license, has not had any license suspended, revoked, or canceled, has not had any convictions for a qualifying offense for any type of motor vehicle such as DWI, DUI, blood breath test refusal, failure to stop and render aid, felony involving use of commercial motor vehicle, the use of a commercial motor vehicle in the commission of a felony involving manufacturing, distributing, or dispersing of controlled substance, any violation of state or local law relating to motor vehicle traffic control arising in connection with any traffic accident in which the aforementioned driver was at fault, has not had more than one serious traffic violation, such as speeding 15 miles over the limit, reckless driving, following too close, unsafe lane change, a violation of the law relating to traffic control arising in connection with the fatal accident, excluding parking, weight, and vehicle defect violations, driving a CMV without a CDL, driving a CMV without a CDL in possession. 3. The applicant is regularly employed in a job requiring the operation of a commercial motor vehicle and has previously taken and passed a skills test given by a state with the classified licensing system, and the test was behind the wheel in a representative vehicle for that driver's license classification, or has operated for at least 2 years immediately preceding application for a CDL, a vehicle representative of the commercial motor vehicle he operates or expects to operate. This exemption only applies to drivers whose 2-year driving experience has been legal, properly licensed, and who have been driving vehicles that are exempt, firefighters, farmers, etc. Texas drivers applying for a commercial driver's license. A driver currently licensed in Texas must present their driver's license, proof of their social security number. Examples include actual social security card, health insurance card issued by government agencies, peace officer's license issued by TCLOS, and military identification card DD 214, pilot's license issued by the FAA, certified college or university transcript, IRS Form W-2 wage and tax statement. Form 1099 miscellaneous, pay stub must include name and SSN, and a Medicare or Medicaid card. A facsimile, flea market, or metal social security card are not acceptable. Also, they will be required to complete an application, a self-certification of medical status, and a qualification certification form CDL-4, CDL-5, or CDL-10 to certify that they meet or are exempt from certain physical qualifications, along with any other necessary certification forms previously mentioned. All the information necessary to take and pass the required CDL test is contained in the Texas Commercial Motor Vehicle Driver Handbook. If a Texas driver is upgrading from a Class C license to a higher class license, he or she will be required to take the Texas Commercial Rules Test. Others applying for a commercial driver's license. If a person is applying for a Texas driver's license for the first time, they will have to fulfill requirements in addition to those for a Texas driver. They will be required to complete an original application for Texas driver's license and take any knowledge and or skills test required. The tests are derived from both the Texas Driver's Handbook and the Texas Commercial Motor Vehicles Driver's Handbook. All necessary forms, handbooks are available at the driver's license office or visit our website at dps.gov. If an applicant does not pass the knowledge and skills test on the date of the first application, the pending application will be retained in the driver's license system for 90 days. If after 90 days or 3 failures all required tests have not been passed, the application will be canceled and new application, fee, and test will be required. Fees. A CDL will require a fee of $60 for 5 years. If a driver already has a valid Texas driver's license, Class A, B, or C, and converts to a CDL license, they will be given a $4 credit each year remaining on the current license. A $24 fee is required for an applicant who obtains a commercial learner's permit. A $10 fee is required for an applicant who makes a change in the class or type of license, endorsement, or restrictions in one that adds a class of vehicles to a CDL. The fee for a replacement or duplicate license is $10. Implied consent. A person who drives a commercial motor vehicle in the state is deemed to have given consent to submit to the taking of one or more specimens of person's breath, blood, or urine for the purpose of analysis to determine the alcohol concentration or the presence in the person's body of a controlled substance or drug. Not all driver's license offices offer skills tests. Office addresses and telephone numbers are located in the telephone book under Texas Department of Public Safety or driver's license, or visit your website at dps.texas.gov. Disqualification. If a driver refuses to submit to a blood alcohol content test while driving a commercial motor vehicle, they will lose their commercial driver's license for the period of time specified in the law. Other disqualifications that can cause a driver to lose a commercial driver's license are explained in Section 1.2, pages 1 through 2 of this manual. Reporting convictions. Also explained in Section 1.2 is the requirement for a driver to report all traffic convictions to his employer. Any out-of-state traffic convictions must be reported by the out-of-state licensing authority to the Department of Enforcement and Compliance Service. Are the tests difficult? The information contained in this handbook is very technical. A general working knowledge of commercial motor vehicles and their operations may not be sufficient preparation for a CDL test. Even seasoned professional commercial drivers need to study the handbook before making application for a CDL. A person should also be familiar with the sections titled Special Requirements for Texas Commercial Motor Vehicles. The same information is also found in Section 14 of the CDL handbook. Where do I go? Not all driver's license offices offer skills tests. Office addresses and telephone numbers are located in the telephone book under Texas Department of Public Safety or driver's license, or visit the website at dps.texas.gov. The USA Patriot Act. The Uniting and Strengthening America by Providing Appropriate Tools Required to Intercept and Obstruct Terrorism, or the USA Patriot Act, was enacted on October 25, 2001. Section 112 of the USA Patriot Act Amendment 49 U.S.C. Chapter 51 by adding a new section 510(3)(a) titled Limitation of Issuance of Hazmat Licenses provides a state may not issue to any individual a license to operate a motor vehicle transporting in commerce a hazardous material unless the Secretary of Transportation has first determined, upon receipt of a notification under subsection C1b, that the individual does not possess a security risk warranting denial of the license. Section 5103A, A2 subjects license renewals to the same requirements. Section 5103A-D requires the Attorney General, upon the request of a state in connection with issuance of an HME, to carry out a background check record of the individual applying for the endorsement, and, upon completing the check, to notify the Secretary as delegated to the Administrator of TSA as a result. The Secretary then determines whether the individual poses a security risk, warranting denial of the endorsement. The background records check must consist of a check of the relevant criminal history database, in the case of an alien, a check of the relevant databases to determine the status of the alien under U.S. immigration laws, and it was appropriate, a check of the new relevant information databases through Interpol, U.S. National Census Bureau, and other appropriate means.